There is a Star Wars film without which some of the most important moments in the saga would never exist. Not the trench run over Yavin, not the carbonite freeze on Cloud City, not the throne room above Endor. Revenge of the Sith is not merely the best of the prequel trilogy, it is the load-bearing pillar of the entire Skywalker saga. Every event in A New Hope, every twist in The Empire Strikes Back, every confrontation in Return of the Jedi, all of it rests on this one film. What follows is a chronicle of 5 turning points, 5 moments inside one film that built the world of the next 3. Turning point 1, the execution of Count Dooku. A defeated enemy kneels before a Jedi. The Chancellor of the Republic, bound and watching, gives the order: kill him. Anakin hesitates, and then he does it. This is the moment Palpatine learns the shape of the weapon he is building. The Chosen One can be moved, not by ideology, not by ambition, by the voice of a man he trusts. Every command Vader carries out in the original trilogy begins on this bridge. The execution of unarmed prisoners, the obedience to a master in a chair, the willingness to kill on instruction. The pattern is set in this single cut. Turning point 2. The legend of Darth Plagueis. A Chancellor and a young Jedi sit in a private box at the opera. The Chancellor tells a story about a Sith Lord who could keep the people he loved from dying. This is the single most dangerous scene in the saga. There is no battle, no lightsaber, no music swell. There is a man whispering a promise to another man who has been having dreams of his pregnant wife dying in childbirth. Anakin Skywalker is offered the one thing the Jedi Order has told him he cannot want: a way to keep her. And from this whispered scene flows the rest of the chronicle. The fear of loss becomes the engine drives the fall becomes Vader. Turning point 3, the arrest of the Chancellor. Mace Windu corners the most powerful Sith Lord in 1,000 years. The Jedi are about to win, and Anakin walks in. What happens next is the hinge of the entire saga. A Jedi raises a saber. A senator begs. A young man chooses. Not punishment. A test. Long pause. He chose love. He chose wrongly. He kept choosing. Turning point 4. Order 66 and the Temple. Order 66 unfolds across the galaxy in minutes, and the man leading the assault on the Jedi Temple, the man killing the children in its halls, is the Chosen One. This is the moment Anakin Skywalker stops being a man who has done a terrible thing. He becomes a man who can do anything. The Empire of A New Hope is built on this one act: the fear in every Imperial officer, the silence of a galaxy that has learned what happens when the Jedi resist. All of it begins in the Temple. Turning point 5. Mustafar. A brother fights a brother on a planet of fire. They fight longer than brothers should. And at the end, on the banks of a lava river, the man who was once the Chosen One loses his arms, his legs, his skin, his soul. The mask closes. The breathing begins. The chronicle of the original trilogy can now start. What those 5 turning points became. When Darth Vader walks through the smoke of the Tantive 4, he is not a movie villain arriving on screen. He is the man who knelt before the Emperor, the man who chose love, the man who chose wrongly, the man who kept choosing. The stormtroopers behind him exist because the clones obeyed Order 66. The princess he interrogates is the daughter of the wife he killed. The droids he is hunting were built and rebuilt by the boy he used to be. Every frame of A New Hope is a consequence of Revenge of the Sith. When Luke finds the smoking remains of the Lars homestead, he is standing on the same planet where his father once suffered the same loss and could not survive it. Two boys, one desert, one world destroyed by fire, 20 years apart. Luke leaves Tatooine. His father never really did. Which brings the chronicle to the throne room. A son fights his father in front of the man in the chair. The man who once told a young Jedi to kill a defeated enemy. The man who once whispered a legend at the opera. The man who knelt and begged in the Chancellor's office and named him Vader. The same setup, the same room shape, the same voice telling a Skywalker to strike. And this time, the Skywalker says no. Luke throws his lightsaber away. Everything Anakin chose, his son refuses. The fear, the grasp, the certainty that love must be defended by violence. And it is in that refusal that Anakin Skywalker finally sees himself. Darth Vader looks at his son. He looks at the man in the chair, the same man who once gave him the order on the bridge of the invisible hand. The same man who whispered the legend at the opera. The same man who knighted his new apprentice in the Chancellor's office and named him Vader. After all that, he picks him up anyway, and he throws him into the shaft. He does it for his son. He does it because the promise was a lie. Long pause. Who could keep the people he loved from dying did not exist. He had built an empire to protect himself from Padme's ghost, and the only person he had left was the son he had spent 20 years hunting. When Luke removes the mask, he is meeting the man from Revenge of the Sith, the boy who built C-3PO, the Jedi who loved a senator, the man who chose wrongly. Anakin Skywalker dies on the floor of the Death Star, looking at his son. He did not die on Mustafar. He died with Luke. Return of the Jedi is not a film about Luke's victory. It is a film about Darth Vader letting go of the pain of losing Padme so he could save his son. All of which was only possible because Revenge of the Sith showed in unflinching detail that Vader's pain was real. This is why Revenge of the Sith is the best Star Wars film. Not because of the choreography, not because of the score, not because of the visual effects, because every other film in the saga depends on the weight of what happens in this one. Take Revenge of the Sith out of the chronicle, and the original trilogy is a story about a farm boy and a robot villain. Leave it in, and the original trilogy becomes the ending of a tragedy that began with a whispered legend in an opera box. One man fell, so that one day his son could refuse to. That is the saga. And Revenge of the Sith is where it lives.